let's talk about this QTP. Okay, so QTP, it's no more QTP actually. Now it's UFT. Okay, so taking this. Um, okay, so it's no more QTP. It's actually UFT, Unified Functional Testing. Okay, so it's actually the it's a higher version of QTP. It's no more QTP is no more used, but the components for this actually remains same. Okay, the components may not be at the same place. What is there in version 9.2? They might be have been changed or replaced. Okay, so but okay, so the remaining the components will be same. So let's try. I don't think this will work because the new Firefox version has shown up, right? So there is a script. So just wanted to show you how the script is. This is a Selenium script, not QTP. Okay, if you are looking, you can try for Selenium because Selenium is open source and free, easy to use. If you know one tool, like QTP or LoadRunner or Selenium, you'll be comfortable with any other tool, like test management tool, right? Rally, it's similar from all the process. Similarly, if you know any one tool like QTP or Selenium, just this is a script. So let's try this. So this is a script, okay? So everyone can see this, right? This is a script, and in QTP also the similar script, but QTP has um, okay, QTP has it works on Visual Basic, okay, it works on Visual Basic, but this Selenium script actually depends on what kind of, you can use in many processes. You can use for Java, if it's JavaScript, Java, Python, so on. Okay, it's how you export in the tool. So this is actually the interfacing tool. This is the interfacing tool, and we have a lot of options here. You see there's a lot of options. Similarly, you'll be having with the QTP tool. But this is open source, so we are getting a lot of things. Of course, QTP is not an open source. You don't get, you have to buy it. But in this case, it's. Let's try to run it in this case. So I will be running through JUnit. Let's try this. Most probably it won't run because the new Firefox version has detected. Okay, so this will, all those things get outdated. I have to generate a new script, okay, and and put the new script here, and let's see this. Let's see if it works. But okay, it worked. Okay, so can everyone see this? Let's see this. Does it working really? Yeah. So what it does is, it actually it opens. You see that you saw that it opens a Firefox for you. All this is there in the script. Okay, it opens a Firefox browser and runs whatever there in the script. You see this code, whatever is there in this code. So this executes the code. It didn't run this properly because my script is old. Okay, and there's a new and my script was for Firefox 50. I guess it was too long back, and this is a new version of Firefox, and this is pretty new. Maybe it will even take some time to get Selenium to let's see this. This is pretty. It's a 57 minus 50 or something. Okay. So that's the reason it didn't run properly. Otherwise, what it would have done is, as you saw, it opens a Firefox browser by itself, executes its, it goes to a particular URL as shown in the script. Look at this. This goes automatically into that URL. Puts all this information in that URL and executes it and see what's happening here. Okay, so this is how QTP script or any Selenium script or any other script. This is how it looks like. Okay, obviously our test case got failed because it's not compatible. See this. This is maybe I'll try for this new browser and see if it works. So this is how overall script runs. So you as a tester, you're not writing any script here. You're just only pasting, copy and paste the script, and you'll be running this button just like this. Okay, once you run it, it's a lot of information shows up, and the Firefox opens up, and it has to go to that URL. But obviously, this has been old script, so it was not able to complete that step. Okay, so that was a little bit demo on this. So I'll try with the new. Let's see if the new one comes up. Okay. So let's. So it doesn't matter. It's a QTP or Selenium. Both are not same. Both are different. But the good thing is Selenium is open source. You can try it out all by yourself. You don't need any license or something. It's all free. But QTP does require licensing, and you may not able to try it. Maybe you can try a trial version. HP has a trial version, but Selenium is much more simpler. I mean, simpler in the case of handling but you need to have a lot of knowledge and a lot of troubleshooting, because there's a lot of things you need to troubleshoot. A lot of things without troubleshooting you are not going anywhere. Okay, so you need to have a lot of troubleshooting skills, then only you can move forward. Okay, so let's talk about this QTP. So either way, doesn't matter QTP, UFT or Selenium, this process remains same. So what we are talking about is process. Just don't get used to that tool. No, I only know that tool. I don't know that tool. It's not the case. Here the case is similar similar for any tool. If you pick randomly, even if you pick load runner, although it's a non-functional testing, this is what you'll be doing in any tool. Okay, in any test automation tool. So these are actually called as automation tool. Okay. Okay, so here's the process. First, you need to record and playback. Okay, first you need to record. Okay, without recording, you cannot do any further. I mean, even if you are doing descriptive processing, first you need to get hold of understanding of record and process. This is a basic thing what anyone have to do. Okay, so that's the record. Recording sense. See here, what you are trying to record. We are recording. Let's say. I lost the URL, right? Okay, let's try this. Actually, I deleted my website browser, so it's not going to show up here. This. Okay, so let's say this is the one, right? So if you're trying to record, okay, whenever you're trying to record it, this records the web application. So if you're clicking this button, the QTP understands, okay, you're clicking this button, so it will go to the button. Once you put this order, that means QTP already recognizes, okay, now you're putting some value there. So QTP also puts that. That records, okay, that's what it's doing in the recording process. Okay, that's what I mean by recording. So here what you are recording is a screen, not just screen, the application flow, not the screen. It's much more than a screen. You're trying to record the flow of application. So the application is moving and how you are entering the values, what values are entering, what button are you clicking, all those kind of things. So this is called recording, okay? Once you record it, you enhance the test. That means once you record it, the script is generated for you. And the script is on Visual Basic. Okay, the script is generated and you need to troubleshoot. I mean, it's enhancing, not troubleshooting. It's enhancing in sense you want to add something, you want to remove something. Okay, that's called enhancing. Okay, sometimes and this is very important because you record once and play many. Because if you will be recording only for one customer, let's say you are trying to do for one customer, the flow is on customer, but you want to do it for 100 other customers, right? Because 100 people, different name, different address, different credit card number, okay, a different expiry date, and everything is different, right? So in that case, you want to enhance it. That means you want to add iterations, like parameterizations. You know what parameters you need to add, because no more, it doesn't work any for one value. You need to replace that value with a variable and run that script with the different variables. So we'll go to that. Most important, enhancing is parameterization is part of the enhancing. You want to enhance it, then you have to do parameterization. Then debugging. If you found an issue, you have to debug it. Okay, and then running the test and analyzing. So once you run the test and once the results are stored in a particular directory, then you need to analyze the results. So what has been failed and what has not, and report defects. Once you have done this, you want to report. And now in this case, in automation, you don't want to get too many defects. If automation scripts gets failed or automation has too many defects, then who is the one to get hold of it? Is QA tester. Because the next question from your boss will be, why, why the testing was not done properly, why there are so many issues in automation, why not in QA, right? The first and very question from your boss will be, why these defects are showing up in automation, why not in QA? So if you have done QA properly and there's so many defects in QA, in automation would not have got too many defects, right? Because the thing is, if you get more defects on the later stage, the more expensive it becomes, for the company, and the company doesn't want to see that, right? So that's the reason you want to be careful here. You don't want to get too many defects here. So whatever the defects you want to take, it should be in QA environment, okay, not in automation. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So here you have this add-in manager. Okay, so the reason why, right, this add-ins, QTP doesn't recognize any objects, I'm sorry, it doesn't recognize any language, right? Only one language, one or two languages is inbuilt. To recognize other languages, you have this add-in. So everyone has this, add-in. So there's ActiveX. Let's say you're playing some video. Okay, some video, or if you have some web application, or if you have some client application, you have this checking. You have to check in this. So this, once this, add-in gets installed, and you will be able to do it properly. Otherwise, it doesn't get recognized by the QTP. Okay, now other add-ins is also for Siebel, Java, SAP, Oracle, .NET, and others. Okay, so these are the add-ins. Once you open it, so these might not be available at the for new version, just like UFT. It may not be available, but these add-ins will be there. Okay, even they might have removed. Even if they have removed, they have to integrate all the add-ins into it, because without this, because day by day the application gets complex, right? A lot of languages being used in the application, a lot of things happen. So, even they have removed this, all this will be, there, or they have integrated into it once, so you will be no more having any add-ins. Okay, so that's add-ins, and let's go to the next one. So you have three types of recording modes. That's normal, analog, and low-level recording. In normal, in normal recordings, let's say if you're recording some application, the left mouse button, these are normal recordings. Any button you're pressing, these are normal recording. Okay. For analog recording, let's say you are using some keyboard, right? If you're using some tab button and trying to click that button, okay, by keyboard, then you call it analog recording. And then you have this low-level recording. So let's say this application has the right clicks, just like this, because this right click is different from this right click, right? These are completely different options. So you want to test that too, right? So in that case, you want to use low level. I mean, this is an example. I mean, there are so many others in low level recordings. Okay, I've just given you one example, like right click mouse buttons, left click mouse buttons, but that's not the only one. There are so many others that it's based on can only come up by based on experience and based on working environment. Okay, other than that, it's very hard, to know what are the other low level recordings. Okay, but these are the examples, how you do the record modes. Then you have running modes. You have normal and fast. Okay, you can run at normal pace or fast. Let's go to the next one. So this is a window. So let's see here. Okay, so this is the interface. I mean, this used to be an interface here. I mean, similar, doing similar in UFT. Although this might have been removed, but let's see here. What are the various interface we can see here? So, um, we'll just go. This is the title bar. Okay, so this is the title bar. Not sure if Windows 10 supports this title bar. It has its own title bar, but this is the title bar where you can see what is it. And this is a menu bar where first edit, file, edit, view, insert, and all this is menu bar. Okay, whatever options which are not available anywhere will be there here somewhere. Okay, so it will be there only in here. Okay, so that's menu bar. And then you call something called file toolbar. These are shortcuts. Okay, these all will be there in the menu bar, but this is for shortcuts. If you want to use right away, this is for file toolbar. Okay, then you have, this is also shortcuts. You will be there. It will be there all here in this, anywhere in this. But to get it quick, you want to use this debug toolbar. Okay, then you have this testing toolbar where record and playback. You can record and playback all in here. Okay, so there is testing toolbar, and this is action bar, action toolbar. Okay, so we'll go to this action to be simple. Is in layman language you can understand as a work script, right? So let's say you want to code something or you want to write something. It has to be someplace, right? Like Notepad or WordPad. Okay, that thing which is integrated in this is called action. Okay, so that's in layman language. You can do much more things in action. It's not just writing scripts, but you want to write the code, right? The code wherever you want to write. So that's in action. Okay, so how do we organize the action? Okay, that way you can get your result. Okay, so that's the action, and this is a test pane. The whole is called test pane, and this is divided into two. One is keyword view, and other is expert view. Okay, in the keyword view, you have in the expert view, actually you have all the code, all the script, everything is the code. In the keyword view, you have this. Okay, you have this item. Okay, this is objects. We talked about this. This is objects, and then what kind of operation it is performing? Is it a click? Is it a select? If you drop down box and it says select, and if you're clicking, it's just click. And if it's a radio button, then it's you put set. Okay, so all those things. And what's the value for it is shown here, and the detailed documentation here. These are the few of the things that you do in the keyword view. Okay, then you have this data table. Data table is kind of Excel sheet, not exact Excel sheet, but Excel sheet for QTB. And the reason you have this is, as I told you, right, enhancing your test. You want to do parameterization. You want to put all your data here so that when the QTP runs, okay, it fetches the data from here. What is the customer name? So the reason, right? Because let's say you want to order here something, right? Let's say you're putting this information, right? And not just one person. You have many person, right? There's so many other person. So in that case, what you want to put is that's data you'll be putting here. Okay. And you're telling the QTP to fetch from here, not from anywhere else. Okay. So you'll be putting in the code itself. So this is active screen, just kind of screenshot what you're trying to do. Whenever it runs, it gets a screenshot. If you see this is a checkpoint trying to do checkpoint. This is purple color. This checkpoint is manually. We'll talk about this. If you can, that is only to view manually checkpoint. Okay, so it's nothing to do with any automation. Okay, let's go to one by one pretty quick here. Okay, so here we know this is to file. If you want to create your own, that is, and if you want to open something which is already stored, you can use this open. And if you want to save it, this is the save icon. If you want to print it, this is the print option. And let's go to here pretty quick. So this is, this quality center connection. Okay. Here, let's say if you are using some, even you can connect to HPLM. Okay, it's quality center connection, and this is used because, let's say you want to get a script, right? Now there are automation architect, automation developer, automation tester, a lot of people involved there. It's a big company. They also have the BA for automation. Okay. Now, all they have to design the script. Who does this? Developer does it. Doesn't have to be, it has to be another developer, retail developer, like ETL developer, web developers, also an automation developer. Now, once the automation developer develops a whole code, okay, once they develop it and it puts they put the script somewhere, right? They have to put it somewhere. Let's say it's an HPLM or quality center. So once they put up quality center, here you can pull up all the scripts, whatever is required for you testing from this. So that is the reason for having this quality center connection. It connects to the quality center. Even you have the test cases there. You can also put your scripts. A lot of things you can put into HPLM. So that's the reason you have this quality center connection. And let's take this one. So this is called object repository. Okay, so that thing is called object repository. So repository is to store something, right? Repository is kind of database, not exactly database, but it to store something. Okay, it's a database for QDB. Okay, it can be a database for QDB, not for anything else. It's a self-maintained for QDB. Okay, so that's the repository. Okay, so before going to that, right? Let's talk about this. So can anyone tell what is an object? Object not as a hardware point of view, but a software point of view. Can anyone tell what's an object? And can anyone tell what is an object in this page? Let's say we are taking this page, and what is an object here?
Object that Sir Manu have its own properties, like enter the GMO online will be the object. When we click on that, it will have its own properties, right?
Okay, good. Anyone else? Yeah, that's right. I mean, object is something, it has its properties and its values. Okay, it has both properties and its values. So here, let's take an example here. When you click this button, right? See this button? There are three buttons. I'm trying to click this one, right? Enter GMO. It has property and it has values. Okay, let's see what are the property. Property is, let's say, it's length. You see, this has length. Okay, and this is not a 3D, so it doesn't have breadth. It's just a 2D button. So it has height. Okay, let's say let's take an example with 2 centimeter length and half centimeter, 0.5 centimeter is height. Okay, now that's really I mean it's like 2 centimeter length, half centimeter, but all the three buttons are the same length, same height. Now, QTP doesn't see, if you are giving such kind of thing, it's not unique. Okay, all the three buttons have this same property and same value for it. So the only way that QTP recognizes an object is unique property. Now what's the unique here is title of the object. I'm sorry, title of the button. Here enter GMO online. So this title of this button is different. Okay, let's see here. We'll go. This is not the way to see it, but let's see. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, good. So here if you see this, the input type is button. Now this is a property. Type is a property, button is a value. The name, what's the name for it? It's a B submit. Okay, so name is not explicitly here. With the value, enter GMONet. So the value of this is enter GMONet. Okay, so you see this is a property and this is a value for it. And language, of course, they are using JavaScript and that's fine. Okay, so I mean this is really not the good way of looking to it, but always whenever you're doing coding or whenever you want to specify something, it's always the case is you have to look at property and its value. Okay, and the red color kind of thing that is a property, and the blue color here is value for that. So this is very important when you're trying to uh, trying to identify an object. Okay, so that's how QTP identifies an object. It uniquely, it has to have some unique property, unique value for that particular property on all the page, whole page. That should be one unique. So that's how the QTP recognizes. So all which is where is it is stored, that's called object repository. All this information is stored here. But if you are going to descriptive programming, this is really not required. This will be pretty much outdated because we'll see on that one. Okay, so but in record and playback, all this will be stored where in the object repository. You can manually add it, or you can manually delete it. You can do in the object repository. Okay, so that's the object repository. Then this guy, man with the hat guy. So that guy is an object spy. Is a spy, object spy. Now, since we, as we've seen here, right, we found these properties and values, but that's really not a good way. That's a developer point of view. So as a testing point of view, you want to, know what is a property and its value. Of course, you don't know the property and values for this, right? There might be like 10s or at least 20s property for a single button, 20 properties. Value may change. Okay, as per how the value is designed, the value will be changing. But to know all these properties and values, right, you want to use this object spy. This object spy. This shows all the properties and values for that particular object. Okay, so that's object spy. And if you are debugging something, you can use this, breakpoints, this breakpoint, or if you're using you are running something and you want to stop in between and run, you can use this. So that's what debug toolbar. Now let's come to the testing toolbar. So record, let's say you want to record something, you use this, and once you record it, run it. Okay, now stop is gray out because it is disabled, because it's only enabled once you record it. And this is an action, as I told you, right? Action, is kind of worksheet. So worksheet where the script is, where you want to write the script or where you want to paste the script. It's called action. So we can do not many more things in action. You can split an action. So this is disabled because it's really not in the page. You can split also in action. Okay. And then you have these two: start transaction time and end transaction time. Okay, so this is the reason you require, because let's say you're navigating this page from one page to another, right? You want to get the granularity of that application or granularity of that particular page from one moment to the another page, right? From one page to another page, or any information which is required 2 points of time from one point to another point. So that's what you want to use this start transaction time and end transaction time. This have many more options. One of the options will be having the time. How much time it has taken to move from one page to another page. All this can be, done using this. Okay. This is why it is used to understand the granularity of an particular from one point to another point. Okay, whatever the point you choose. For, let's say you want to see how much time it takes for movement of this one page to another page. So you want to use start transaction time and end transaction time. Okay, next you have this two low level recording and analog recording. Okay, so and this is will be discussed. So this is the action toolbar. Okay, where you can choose your own actions. If you have multiple actions, you can choose from here. Okay, which action you want, and now each action. So these are all the objects. So normally these are all objects. So you have to have name of the object, right? So these are all the name of the objects. So anything can be an object. Okay, let's say even if you are taking this web page, everything has its own object. The thing is, there is a parent object, there is a child object. The parent object always remains the browser. So browser is the parent object, and all are are the child objects. So that's what it is here. Oops. Okay, so you see this. This is the browser. This is the browser name Welcome Mercury Tool. Okay, and that is a parent object, and the child objects are all these are child objects. Even this image is an object. Okay, this text, first text is also an object. And these buttons, all are object in this page. And of course, there are tables too here. That's an object. You see this? Okay, you cannot see this table. Let me show you in different way. You see here. You see this table? Obviously, you're not able to see that because that's a hidden property. But there is a table. If you see here. Okay, you see this table? Oops. 498, 109. Okay, so that's a table. So that's also a property. Obviously, you cannot see here in this page. You say where is the table, but there is a table to split all this information. Okay, so even that is an object. Okay, so it's it has a lot of things. Okay, so all this is whatever you want to do is these are the objects. Okay, and what kind of operation you are performing to that object is important. Let's say you are performing here. Let's say this button. What you are performing? You are performing click operation. That means you are clicking it. Okay, that's called operation. What kind of operation? If it is a button, then you click it. If it's a radio buttons, you set it. You just click on that, right? That's set. That's called set. And if it is a drop-down box, then you actually select it. Okay, so that's what it has as operations. And what the value for that particular property is here. Okay. Documentation is like what's going on with that when you click on that, or what you're trying to do is all this in the documentation. Okay, so this is a keyword view, and the expert view will be having all the code in it. Okay, code like since we have seen, right? So I hope everyone has seen that Selenium scripts. That's how the code looks like. In expert, its keyword view, this is the how it looks like in the expert view. Be looking all the code. And the data table. Okay, data table is for Excel for QTP. There you can use this for entering the data and running the iterations. You run various iterations here. Okay, that means for one customer, second customer, third customer, and so on. Okay, that's for data table. And this is a kind of screenshot what's happening when you're running it. Okay, so that's pretty much about QTP. Any questions? So I mean, this is the interface actually, not QTP. This is an interface. So the interface. This is an old one. So new one may not be, that. But these options, right? These options all will be there, like objects by this the object repository. These all will be it'll be there somewhere or other. But if you want to find that options, you will be you will be able to get it in menu bar. If there is no toolbars, these are for shortcuts. Okay, you want to find instantly, this is for file toolbar. Otherwise, this is not necessary to be there, or even it can be there, doesn't matter. They might have removed all this. I think they have removed all this in new features, new version. Okay, they only even if it's not there, you can find it in menu bar. Okay, so let's go to the slide pretty quick here. So that's the interface of this QTP. So we'll go one by one here. So object repository. So we talk about this object repository, right? It contains what is the property and its value. See this? So you can add manually here. If you see, this is add new object. Let's see here. So you can manually add, if you see, you can see this, right? You can add a new object here. Okay, or you can use this object spy. Okay, or you can do a lot of things in object repository. Once you click on this object repository, this pop-up window shows up. So this is a pop-up window for object repository. Okay, and here if you can see this, and this is a property, and this is a value for this. Okay, and you can as usual, you can also remove it. And if you see that, so these are all objects. These are all the objects in the application. Okay. So that's an object repository, and let's go to the next one, object spy. So once you click on object spy, right? Let's see here. So once you click this button, you have to click this button. Once you click on this button, and you can go any other application and click on that button, all these properties and values will be showing up here. Here it's not showing anything because they are not clicked any button. If you click any button or text or something, all the properties and values will be showing up here. And you can use the same properties and values for your descriptive programming. Okay, so that's object spy. Okay, so how does Qtest recognizes its object properties? Okay, it has three major object properties. There is mandatory property, SSQ property, and ordinal identifier. So the only thing, the most important for QTP is to uniquely identify a value for that particular property. Okay, so that's what it says. You don't need all these properties when you're doing hard coding or descriptive programming. Whenever you're doing that, you don't need all this, but only what you want to need is few properties which are uniquely to identify an object. Let's say if I'm taking this button, now the length of the button is same for all the three buttons. So obviously QTP doesn't know which button to click, even if you code it. So it doesn't do anything because you don't know which button to click. So it doesn't work. Okay. If you put height, all the height of this button are same, it doesn't fit. The unique is the title of this button, that is enter geomon. Now if you put that property, now that QTP buttons click that button because it's no, you're trying to say this is the button. Now that's how the QTP understands, okay, based on objects. So let's go to the next one. Okay, synchronization. Okay. So why do we need this synchronization? Okay, now let's say, so let's take an example here, okay. Now let's say you're trying to record an application, web application. Okay, let's take web application. And whenever you click this button, it's going to the next page, and and if you're putting some array, it's going to the next page. But look at here, when you're clicking this, this is taking some time here, right? Let's say it took more time. Okay, it takes more time. Now instead of it took some microsecond, right? Microsecond and millisecond, but let's say it took more than 2 seconds or 3 seconds. So what happens, right? QTP thinks that it's a bug and it fails the script and gets the result as script is failed. Now let's really it's not failed. It took little more time because server is slow. We know the server is slow, and we are working on it, and that's fine. So, but QTP doesn't know, right? Now what you need to hear is you need to write, after the code, wait. It is a code, simple code like wait. Let's say 10. That means you're telling QTP to wait for 10 seconds. It's 10 seconds, 5 seconds. So now what QTP does, it waits to complete that. Okay, because it knows now, okay, the server is slow, you have to move that from one page to another, so it waits. Okay, so that's the use of this, synchronize. So that's what you want to synchronize. So that's the reason you need the synchronization in QTP. Okay, so these are the options for the synchronization. If something shows up or something button is enabled, QTP tries to click that, and it might get, the script might get failed. So to avoid those, script is not failed because script is, we know script is good, application is good, but it is not synchronizing with what the application behavior is, because it has to, the server is slow and it has to move slow. So, but QTP thought it's failed because it's not responding in that point of time. So that's the reason you want to use synchronization. Wait for 10. Okay. So here let's look at this code pretty quick here. So we'll also discussing a little bit more here. So this is, let's say if you want to do this descriptive programming, then you no more require that repository, no object repository. You are already putting all the properties and values in the code itself. Okay, so you have seen this code too, right? Okay, let's see here very quick one more time. If you see here, this code also has its properties and values. Okay, so to see the whole, at the end of the day, you see this, the whole code is just one. For just 2 buttons, what they have put, just property and values, that's it. Now you need all these things because it's a dependent thing. You cannot create this just a small line, just small line of code in the, just like that. So you need to divide this with a table, and you want to have this body, this, all those things you need to put. So that's the reason this code becomes lengthy. Otherwise, the simple code for these 2 buttons is this is. Okay, not just 2 buttons, 1 button. That is enter gem. This is the simple code. Okay, so that's what they are trying to do. So here, this is different. Okay, so this we will not go with this. This is not required. So here, let's try to understand this code. Okay, so window. So window is kind of pop-up or dialog box. That's called window, and the name for this is flights. Okay, the flight is actually the title. If you see here. This is this title bar, so that's the title bar on that. Okay, so that's why it came as flights. Win button. Okay, so that means if you're clicking, so these are all win buttons. Okay, the clicking is this is a win button. You can say this is a win button. So why it's win button is kind of like you're using in Windows, so it's called win button. Okay, now update order. Okay, now this is an update order is a value. And you're telling this wait property enabled, okay, for 1,000 seconds. Okay, you're trying to delete it another. Okay, so in that one you want to add some statement wait. Okay, this is an example. We'll go through this one more time. Okay, for a different one. Okay, let's go to the pretty quick to the checkpoints. So as I told you, checkpoint is only to view it manually for us. It's for us. So let's say here, you see this purple color. that means this is, somebody put some checkpoint, so you're getting purple color so that you can view it. So that's a checkpoint. This is not for QTP or this is not for anyone. This is for ourselves to see is that value correct or not. Okay. So let's say there are too many. There are many checkpoints here. Standard checkpoint. Let's say if you don't know what checkpoint to use, you can use any standard checkpoint that will do. Okay. Then you have this image checkpoint. Okay. In this image checkpoint, so this is the image, right? So if you want to put a checkpoint for this, it's called image checkpoint. Table checkpoint. Now that is the table, right? I mean, of course, you're not able to see it because if you want to see from the code, then there's the table here. You see this? This is the table. Okay, table 498, 108. So you want to use that one. So that's called table checkpoint. Okay. Now this is a page checkpoint. If you want to checkpoint the whole page, then this you can use page checkpoint. Then the text checkpoint. Okay. Let's say you want to use this text. Okay, this text. This one you can use text checkpoint. Now text area checkpoint. Let's say you want to know the area of this text, right? So area of the text, and you can use text area checkpoint. Then bitmap checkpoint is like similar to image checkpoint. Okay, and database checkpoint. If you are using QTP for ETL, so you cannot use too much data. If there is too much data, you cannot use QTP. But if it's limited data and you have some limited, then you can use database checkpoint using QTP. Once you connect to the database, you can also validate the records for it. Okay, so these are various checkpoints. So here is an example. You can either use this from the menu bar. Okay, this checkpoint they are trying to see how can you either you can use it from the menu bar, or you can use this right click and you can insert right click option. So it's because you don't have this in shortcuts. You can add it. If you want to use shortcuts, you can add it, but you can use from the menu bar and you can use the checkpoint. Okay, so let's come to the next one is parameterization. Okay, so here, right, we as I told you, like parameterization, what you'll be doing is in the parameterization, so this is the value. So we know this is a property. Okay, this is the value. Okay. Okay, so this is the value, and this is the object, and this is the performance. No, I'm sorry, the operation you're performing, right? So here, what you want to do in parameterization is you are changing this value because value is constant, right? Value is always constant. Now you are changing this value to put a variable here. Let's say some variable. Okay, some variable, not just code. I mean to say any specific. Let's say you want to do for month. Okay, for this month is the December, DEC. Now you want to remove that value and put some variable. Okay, MOL, kind of MOL, and want to put that all the data. Let's say January, February, March till December. Let's say 12 data. Okay, and putting all the data here. Okay, or JN. Okay, FEB, and you're putting one by one and entering some value, or you're uploading all this copy and paste. You can do that. Now after doing that, you want to tell QTP to look into this data sheet and run the script. So what happens right now? It runs for, let's say you're putting 12 data, right? 12 data, then it runs 12 different iterations. Okay, that will run for January, that will run for February, that will so on. Okay, so that's the use of this one. Okay, so that's the parameterization. So what you will be doing is we'll be changing the value, let's see here. So that's what here is shown, right? Now, if you are right clicking this, this is a value. Okay, so this is a value that is London. Now, if you are right clicking it and you're telling to parameterize, so you have this various option here. The constant is London, but you want to change it to parameter. Once you click this option, now it shows like data table. See this data table? Once you do this, you have two options: global, current action. Okay, so once you do that, okay, good. Now, if you see here, now you have checked it to parameter, right? So now what you have to is, what you are trying to say here to QTP to look into this data table. You might have other option too, files or database or whatever it is. But here we want to look into data table. And what the name you are giving to that variable is up to you, like p underscore item, you are giving you p underscore item. And so where the actually the location of data table is a global sheet or current action. Global sheet in sense if you are using anything which is land which everyone uses it, that's called global sheet. Or current data sheet means whichever you're trying to do in your system, you want to use it, so that's called current sheet. Okay, so that's once you perform this parameter. Okay, look at this. Okay, so good. Now you see this. Now once you do that, right? Once you assign this. Now this is the data table. That means you're telling QTP to see this data. So now they have entered some data. Now they have entered 4 data here: London, Paris, Denver, Paris, and they have also entered 2 data. That means 2 sets. Okay, you have to use 2, right? So once you have used that, now you want to run this. After using this, you want to run it. So it runs 4 times. That's called 4 iterations. So this is where the iterations comes into the picture, because you want to give, you're assigning that variable to various values, not just one value or 2 value, but many values. Okay, depending upon requirement, how much data you have to consider. So in that case, you're running it. So that's called iterations. So it performs various iterations for different values. Okay. So once you do this, the result is generated and it shows is it pass or fail. Okay, it's automatically generated and it puts it in a folder, a directory, and it shows the result. Okay, you can do with multiple actions. So here, we'll talk about this way. Any questions so far in parameterization? Parameterization is like you're assigning variables, and in that variable, you're assigning various values. Instead of one value, that's not. For example, when it is useful when you are dealing with hundreds of customers, right? So let's say you are using this, and hundred of customers will be buying this, right? So you have to put a name, address, city for hundreds of customers. It has to go 100 times. Okay, so that's the reason you need this parameterization. Okay, so let's go to the actions. There are 2 types of action, that is regular, that is non-reusable, and reusable. Now you have this reusable because let's say you're creating some function, right? You're creating some function, and that function goes into every script. Whenever you're using the script, now you cannot write like 100 lines of code again, and again, right? So what you want to do is you want to create a reusable action and dump that into the library file. Once you put into a library file, you can call that function anywhere you want. So that's the reason you need this reusable action. Okay, non-reusable, that means once, cannot be used more than once. Okay, and this can be 2 types. There's locally or externally. Locally in sense you're using in your machine. Externally means your in the network. Okay, that's the reason you can use this. And here it says how to call a new action. You can see this you're seeing that, right? Here you have this option, right? 2 options: call an action. This is an option, and split an action. You can also split this action. So here you can create, your new actions. Or even if you're not able to find it in, shortcut toolbar, you can always go to menu bar. In menu bar, you'll be having it. Okay, might be in tools. Okay, might be in the tools, or it might be in the test. Okay, it might be anywhere there, but you'll be getting in the menu bar. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. You see this? Yeah, it's just in insert section. You see this? Even if you're not able to find something in shortcut or toolbars, you can always go into a menu bar and find that actions. Okay, so here you have various options. You can call a new action, copy a new action, or you can do all the things. If you see this start transaction, end transaction time is also here. It's also in the toolbar because of shortcut, but it will always be there in the menu bar. Okay. Let's go to the next very quick. So recovery scenarios. Let's talk about this recovery scenario. So why do we really require this recovery scenarios? Okay. So what happens, right? Now let's say you're running like 40 hours, 40 hours of the data. I mean this line of data, and you're running a script. 40 hours of script. That means pretty long time, right? You cannot just wait 40 hours and get QTP to continue. Once you put it in the server, you perform other work. You cannot just wait. Now, when running the 40-hour script such a long time, it's a long time, right? You don't want to make sure that everything is good. So what you want to do is, let's say the server is slow for some reason, and we know it's a server is slow, server issue, not application. Application is good. We know it. We design it. Developer knows it. Everything is good. So what happens, right? Now suddenly some pop-up window shows up from nowhere, and it's not an application issue, okay? Because it has been tested in QA. There's nothing like that. Everything is good, okay? And but the server is slow. Some reason it shows up some pop-up window, and now let's say there's running 40 hours of script. It's running 39th hour, and the script is failing. That's not good, because a whole 39 hours got wasted. That means almost 2 hours, right? 2 days. Okay. So almost 2 days, you just waited for the script, and the script got failed for this pop-up window, and that is not even in the script, and that's not even in the application. It's nothing showing up. So now what you want to tell QTP is, if you find something like this, you want to stop that and continue with others. So that's what recovery scenario is like. Okay, so let's say here you are telling QTP, if you found any pop-up window which is not there in application, you want to go ahead and run other code. Okay, so here is the thing. I give an example for pop-up window. So so this is a pop-up window which suddenly pops up from nowhere because QA was good, but here some server issue shows up. But you can also do it for object state. If you got any test error run or application crash, you can use all this for the recovery scenarios. Okay, so this recovery scenarios is for QTP. Now you're telling QTP to run remaining script and leave that alone. Okay, you're telling QTP to leave it and run the remaining script. That's what recovery scenario. Okay. Okay. Any questions so far? So we'll go pretty quick here on the descriptive programming. Okay. So we'll just go here. So here, let's take an example. Okay. Let's say you're no more recording. So recording playback is good. Whenever you start from scratch, you have to do recording playback. Okay, without that, you cannot do descriptive programming. Now, the reason you have this descriptive programming, because let's say the application is dynamic. If it's a static, that's fine. You can do recording playback. Now, recording playback doesn't work for the dynamic applications. Now, sometimes the object was here, suddenly it got moved, it got changed to some other. Now, that's a dynamic website. Now, in that case, you cannot able to do recording playback. it fails every time. Okay, because the application changes every time. Now, what you want to do is a descriptive programming. Now, let's take an example here. Let's say this. So here I'm doing this. Okay. Now, enter on Gmail. Let's say I'm filling this in order. So here there is a pop-up window shows up, right? So let's write a code for this. Okay, let's write a code. How does this pop-up window shows up? How to click this button? Okay, you need to click this button, but you know how to click this button. Just click this button. That's simple. But QTP, to write the code for QTP to click that button. Well, let's see how this works. Let's see the code. Okay, let's say there's a window and there is an error. Okay, this is supposed to be, the title bar actually, the error, and this is a window, this window, right? Window, dialog box, pop-up, all these are similar name, but used in different context. Okay, so this is a window, and okay, what you're trying to say is dot win button, okay, and text is okay, width is 50. Okay, so let's go back here. Text is okay. Okay, good. This is the text is okay. Now, what you're trying to say is you're trying to identify this object. What is the object? Okay button, and that you're uniquely identifying. There's no okay button anywhere in the page, right? So that's what text is equal to okay, and let's go back. Width is 50. Okay, you're giving that is doesn't matter because you already given the uniquely identifying property. And width is 50. Okay, that means such thing like width is 50. Okay. And what I'm trying to do with this dot click. So if it's a button, it's a dot click. If it's a drop down box, then it's a dot select. If you are using radio button, that is dot set. Okay, here you're clicking dot click. That means you're clicking. That's how this one line code means to click OK button. You can create for any buttons, or you can create for any URLs or any, so this is one line code to just click an OK button. So does it make sense? So this is how, if you want to do, so if you want to work more on descriptive programming, so there's a website. Yes, I've given in syllabus, right? That's qtp.blogspot.com, and let's see here. Oh, there you go. So here, if you want to learn more, you can go ahead and try this one. This has good amount of tutorials. You can start from scratch. That is record and playback, and then you can go till descriptive programming. Okay, so you can start from QTP tutorials. There's a lot of tutorials. You can go through it. I thought it was 40 in 2000, and now it's 82. So it's keep on changing. They keep on adding new. So there's a tutorial. Once you have done tutorial, you can go ahead and descriptive programming, and you see here descriptive programming, and you can start start writing code. So you can have this. You can know more on this one QTP. Okay. Or I'll be giving you some information, some presentation actually from the Selenium. You can also go through that and try to install it if if you are looking for Selenium. And Eclipse is a little bit more detail, if you need, okay, you need more enhance or like, I mean, if you want to do more on that one, you can install Eclipse, but you need to really have some troubleshooting skills because the reason, right, the Eclipse have so many issues and you need to, figure it out how to, not just to eliminate issue, but how to find a way to get out of these issues because they're using Selenium, that's an open source tool, and every time new Firefox shows up, every time there's a new issues. So to skip that, you need to see how to do it. So that only gets once you uh, go into it. But for now, you can look into this UTP. Now you can try to understand it and see if if you want to move on, like how do you, if you want to use UTP or if you want to Selenium, it's up to you. Okay. Any questions so far? So tomorrow, right? Tomorrow is the last class. So we discuss about um, certification and the people who have, some people were not able to complete it because they are working. So in that case, yeah, you can do it whenever you're free. But if you're not working, you should have, completed your certification. Okay. But yeah, people who are working, they can do whenever they have time. Tomorrow we'll discuss the people who have not done about certification and see, let's try to see what is there. And we'll also discuss about the TFS. Few people wanted TFS. So if anyone else is interested, let me know. We can create a TFS and we can start running on that one. Okay, if no questions, can we close this class for today?
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys.